Greetings, everyone. Well, it's package opening time again. Yes, got an unexpectedly large package from Frank. I thought he was just sending like one thing, but I'm guessing he sent a few more things because, well, it's Frank. It's Frank from the It's Frank YouTube channel, of course. And as most of you will know who have been watching my channel for a while, when Frank sends a package, it's always something special, and he sends a lot of really, really cool stuff. In fact, a good chunk of my my Disney and Hanna-Barbera shelf is from him. Like, a lot of that collection is thanks to Frank's contributions over the years. So, yeah, so I know what one item in this is, but this definitely feels like more than one item. So, as for the rest, I have no idea. So let's find out. Another package from Frank today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Alrighty. So some of the tape was coming off the side here. I just keep pushing it down and it keeps going. Anyway, let's open it up here and see what we got. So, there we go. And, well, do that. We'll just block that off in the editing. I don't think you can read that anyway. It was pretty small print. Alright, so let's just put it down on the table here. So we have... Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Holy moly. So we got a bag full of stuff inside the box. So let's take it a bit at a time here. So first up, this is the one I knew was coming. We have Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, the second movie, the Steelbook, the Ultra HD Steelbook, no less. Let's actually open this up here and take a quick look, because there's a big sticker on the cover there, kind of obscuring the cover. So let's just take a look-see here. He sent me the Steelbook of the first one as well, so I have basically... Oh, this is really nice. This is nice. Hold on. So we got the backing card, which we'll just take off. And there we go. But check this out. They actually made it look kind of like the Sonic 2 Genesis cover, which is very cool. I like that a lot. Very nice. And then inside we have, so it just slides out like that. So we actually do have the, I don't know how well you can see it, but we do kind of have the checker motif that was on the Genesis covers. Very cool. And then there we go. So if we open it up here, we got our digital code. We'll just set that aside. And then we have, there we go, the 4K and the Blu-ray. And then if we pop these out here, we'll just take a look underneath. There we've got, so we got Robotnik and Knuckles versus Sonic and Tails. Very nice indeed. And I think there's a third one in the works, if I'm not mistaken. I know these have been doing phenomenally well. Been very well received by fans and critics alike. And then we got Play as Sonic on mobile. So we got an ad for some mobile games there. And then a couple of the recent games. We got Sonic Ultimate and Sonic... Is it Sonic Ultimate? Sonic Colors Ultimate, sorry. And Sonic Origins. Yeah, which I think... I can't remember which one I have. I think I have Sonic Origins. I might not have Sonic Colors. I'll have to look into that. I know I have all of the classic Sonic games multiple times over on various formats, but I'll have to check and see which ones I have of the more recent ones. All right, so that's Sonic 2. That's the one I knew was coming. So everything else in here is a surprise. We do have a note from Frank, which we'll check out after. So first up, we have kind of a thick case here. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, I see what this is. Interesting. So he sent an empty Bluray case for for, I guess, for this one, for the Sonic Boom complete series set, which he sent a while back. I think because, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's why. Because the discs are stacked. So he thought that I might want to put them in a regular Blu-ray case just to kind of protect the discs. I might actually do that. Thank you very much. I didn't even think of that. That's actually a really good idea, Frank. I appreciate that consideration there. All right, and then next up we have... Oh, nice! This was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. I actually still have an LP of the story of the movie, you know, where they actually have, like, audio from the movie with some accompanying narration and, like, kind of a storybook. We have The Rescuers, both movies of The Rescuers. This is one I've been wanting, actually, for a while. The 35th anniversary of The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under, which I have not seen in a very, very long time. I remember being quite impressed with Rescuers Down Under because it's one of the few Disney movies that isn't a musical. It's actually just a straight-up animated adventure movie. So we have the DVDs, one for each movie, and then both movies on a single Blu-ray. So there you go. That is so cool. And then... you got for the movie you got Peopleitis, a deleted song, Three Blind Mouseketeers, Silly Symphony animated short, Waterbirds, Disney True Life Adventure, Someone's Waiting for You sing-along song, and The Making of The Rescuers Down Under. That is so cool. I didn't know there was a deleted song from The Rescuers. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I always really liked that. It's, of course, the voices of Bob Newhart and Zsa Zsa Gabor as Bernard and Bianca Mouse. And I loved this story growing up, just the whole thing. For me, it played into sort of the fear that a lot of kids have, I think, growing up, especially in the 80s. There was a lot of paranoia about being kidnapped. So it really kind of played into that. So in the original story, a little girl gets kidnapped and sends out basically a message in a bottle to have someone rescue her, and it's picked up by the Rescue Aid Society, which is the society of mice that help people in need. So they send off Bianca and Bernard to rescue her, essentially. And it's just this really fun, heartwarming adventure. I've always really loved that story a lot. And I don't honestly remember much about The Rescuers Down Under, other than the fact that it wasn't a musical. But I also remember the visuals in that being really spectacular, like the animation in it and stuff. So definitely going to look forward to seeing those again. Next up we have, oh nice, basically something for the Sherlock Holmes collection. We have The Great Mouse Detective. Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen this. It's one I've always wanted to see because I know that the big clock tower scene, like the sort of final fight in it, is very heavily inspired by Lupin III, specifically the Castle of Cagliostro, which most of you will know I'm a huge fan of. So once again, DVD and Blu-ray. So that's very cool. But this is one I've always been meaning to see. I just never got around to it. Or if I did, it was so long ago I don't remember. Extras on this one, we have So You Think You Can Sleuth, The Making of the Great Mouse Detective, and The World's Greatest Criminal Mind sing-along song. And there you go. So very nice. Very nice indeed. Did I show the back of this one? Yeah, there we go. Actually not a ton to look at there, but very cool. What I just say about Frank being largely responsible for my Disney collection, there you go. There's a few more. And then we have, oh, yes, fantastic. Oh, is this all three? Oh my God, it's all three of them. We have the Tex Avery Screwball Classics collection. Fantastic. Oh, this is great. Because, of course, I've got, as most of you will know, I have the Tom and Jerry Blu-ray, and I have the 3 Platinum collections of the Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. So I've definitely been wanting to get the Tex Avery ones. I think they've been on my wish list for quite a while because it's a lot more stuff from that same era of animation. It's just wonderful. So these are all from Warner Archive. So 3 volumes. How many cartoons are on these? So it's from the 40s and 50s. So let's see here. So we have quite a few. So yeah, so it says it's intended for the adult collector and may not be suitable for children. I love that they're doing that, basically just leaving them uncut, uncensored, with all their sort of, sometimes culturally insensitive content intact, because it's a part of history, right? You don't learn from history by erasing it. You learn from history by seeing it in all its, warts and all. So let's see. So Screwball Classics Volume 1, we've got Red Hot Riding Hood, Who Killed Who, What's Buzzin' Buzzard, Batty Baseball, The Hick Chick, Bad Luck Blackie, Garden Gopher, The Peachy Cobbler, Symphony and Slang, Screwball Squirrel, The Screwy Truant, Big Heel Watha, Lonesome Lenny, Hound Hunters, Red Hot Rangers, Dumbhounded, Wags to Riches, The Chump Champ, and Daredevil Droopy. If anything, I'm just excited to have some Droopy cartoons. I always loved Droopy as a kid. I thought he was just wonderful. So that's 138 minutes of classic cartoons. And then on Volume 2, we've got Little Rural Riding Hood, The Cuckoo Clock, Magical Maestro, One Cab's Family, The Cat That Hated People, Doggone Tired, The Flea Circus, Field and Scream, The First Bad Man, Outfoxed, Droopy's Double Trouble, The Three Little Pups, Drag Along Droopy, oh goody, more Droopy stuff, Homesteader Droopy, Dixieland Droopy, The Counterfeit Cat, Ventriloquist Cat, The House of Tomorrow, Car of Tomorrow, TV of Tomorrow, and The Farm of Tomorrow. I sense a theme there. And that one is 149 minutes. Great stuff. And then finally on Volume 3, which is 150 minutes, we have Blitz Wolf, The Early Bird Dude It, One Ham's Family, Happy Go Nutty, Jerky Turkey, The Shooting of Dan Magoo, Swing Shift Cinderella, Wild and Wolfie, Northwest Hounded Police, Slap Happy Lion, King Size Canary, What Price, Fleedom, Little Tinker, Senior Droopy, Cockadoodle Dog, Rockabye Bear, Little Johnny Jet, Billy Boy, Deputy Droopy, and Cellbound. And there we go. And what is, we have some extras on here. No, we have one extra on Volume 3, special feature. We have Crackpot Coil with the original audio soundtrack. I'm not sure what the difference is there, but yeah, I'm not overly familiar with the history of these. I just know that I used to watch them a lot on TV. Always loved the Tex Avery stuff. So that is awesome. That is a total surprise. Thank you so much, Frank. That's freaking awesome. Love all that stuff. Alrighty, let's check out his note here. Questions, one of two. So we got two-sided questions. So, have you seen Copper Mountain, 1983 movie? That doesn't ring a bell, so I'm going to have to say no. Have you seen The Mysterious Stranger, 1982 TV movie? Going to have to say no to that one as well. Have you seen Shelley Duvall's Tall Tales and Legends 1985 TV series? That I have not. I actually only ever saw some of Fairy Tale Theater. I didn't see any of her other ones. Have you seen Shelley Duvall's Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme 1990 TV movie? Likewise, I haven't seen that one. I've really just seen the Fairy Tale Theater one, which Frank actually sent me a set of a package or two ago. A wonderful complete series set of Fairy Tale Theater. It was great stuff. A lot of famous people in these, and just a wonderful kind of fresh take on a lot of the classic fairy tales. Have you seen In the Heat of the Night, 1988 TV series? I saw a good chunk of it when it was originally on, because my parents used to watch it a lot. I'm a huge fan of the original movie that was based on. I actually have the Criterion collection set of that, and then I think it was This Hidden World sent me the other two Virgil Tibbs movies. They Call Me Mr. Tibbs and The Organization, I think was the third one. Sadly, I don't know why In the Heat of the Night isn't on DVD or Blu-ray, because it was such a huge, popular, well-received series. I mean, it had a good solid. It ran at least 5, 6, maybe even more seasons. I don't know off the top of my head, but I know Carol O'Connor was up for an Emmy, and maybe even won some Emmys for it over the years, and it was just very, very popular and well received. So I have no idea why it's not on DVD or Blu-ray yet. I really wish it would be, because now, especially having gained a deeper appreciation for the movies that it was based on, I'd really like to revisit the series and see it again, through adult eyes. And I'm sure I would appreciate and enjoy it a lot more now than I did when I was a kid when it was originally on. Have you seen Hill Street Blues? Yes, ditto. My parents used to watch it quite a bit. I was a little young for it at the time. It says Hill Street Blues 1981 TV series. That's one I'd really like to get. That one is on DVD. Shout Factory put out a complete series set of that. I used to have the old releases, the season 1 and 2 sets that Fox put out, and I did watch a little bit of them on that. But I've never seen the entire series. I'd really like to get that big box set they put out of the full series. I did, however, watch a lot of NYPD Blue, which was also from Steven Bochco, the same producer and creator who did Hill Street Blues, and that was a great show. It was so well done. It was like gritty and realistic, and much like Hill Street Blues, it got into not just the crimes that the cops were solving, but it also focused a lot on their personal lives and their personal problems and stuff like that and their relationships. And I really liked NYPD Blue for that aspect of it. But Hill Street Blues was really the one that started that. It was one of the first cop shows to really dive into the personal lives of the characters and not just focus on their police work and stuff. So I'd really like to get Hill Street Blues at some point. And I'd also like to get the rest of NYPD Blue. I've actually only got the first 4 seasons on DVD. They actually did do a high-definition remaster of NYPD Blue recently for streaming. So I'm kind of holding off a bit, hoping we're going to get some Blu-rays at some point. I've seen some clips from it, and it looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. And have I seen Murder, She Wrote, the 1984 TV series? Again, my mom was a huge fan of that. She grew up reading a lot of the old Agatha Christie novels. I think she had all of them, actually. She loved them. So for her, Murder, She Wrote was and I think it was very much inspired by Agatha Christie and that sort of thing, the whole idea of a female mystery author and such. And, and I watched it partly for Tom Bosley, who, of course, I used to see in Happy Days all the time. So as Mr. C. But anyway, it was quite good. I wasn't enamored with it because, again, I think I was a little too young for it at the time. It's one that I wouldn't mind revisiting because I know it's another one that's very beloved and so forth. And it actually crossed over with Magnum P.I. Once or twice. I know on the Magnum P.I. DVD and Blu-ray sets, it has those crossover episodes. That's another series I really want to get, actually. They just put out the Blu-ray collection of Magnum P.I. That's one I'd love to get for my private eye collection. Great stuff. Very Rockford Files-like, actually, with Magnum. He's kind of like, almost like the Rockford of the 80s, kind of the lovable, handsome loser, essentially, where it's like you just can't catch a break no matter what. But great stuff. Love that. Michael Jackson wrote music for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the video game. What's your thoughts about it? I actually always really liked the music for Sonic 3. I actually played that when it first came out. Like, I had a Sega Genesis at the time, and I got the Sonic 3 game pretty much when it came out. I think it was for my birthday that year. I got it as a present or something like that. I can't remember. But anyways, around that time, I got Sonic 3, and I just played the heck out of it. I thought it was great. Very different from the first 2 Sonics. It had more kind of... They got a lot more into the multiplaning, like parallax scrolling graphics, and the graphics generally had more of kind of an organic feel almost, rather than being more kind of tile based like they were in the first 2, if that makes sense. But I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was good. It was different. It's not. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Sonic game. I think Sonic 2 probably wins that title, but it's definitely a solid sequel. And I liked the introduction of Knuckles and how he had all this kind of mystery surrounding him, and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. He was sort of established as the guardian of the Chaos Crystals at the time. Although, of course, at the beginning we don't know. He's kind of set up as an antagonist. But he later becomes an ally of Sonic's. But it was an interesting introduction, and Knuckles himself was a fun character because he could do different things. And I guess it wasn't until the next game, Sonic and Knuckles, where we actually got to play as him. But then it had the lock-on technology where you could play as Knuckles in Sonic 3. I don't know if you remember, there's some old commercials about that. But as for the music, I actually really liked the music. I thought it had a very different kind of a more almost organic kind of flavor to it versus the more kind of synthy and jazzy scores of the first two games. Love the music in the first two games too. So it has a different vibe to it, but one that I think fits the visuals and the overall sort of tone of Sonic 3. I think it worked very well for it, and it's a very good score. I actually like it a lot, and I like the kind of playful, percussive nature of it, especially whenever Knuckles would show up. He'd had that kind of percussive, almost theme motif whenever he'd show up, and just kind of added to his vibe and mystery. What's your thoughts about Morph from X-Men the Animated Series? That's interesting. A friend of mine absolutely hated Morph. He couldn't stand him, and he was glad to see him die. My thought, I was pretty indifferent about him, honestly. I thought he was just kind of a fun kind of... I liked his sense of humor, how he would kind of use his morphing ability as part of his humor. And he was a bit of a prankster, a bit of a jokester. But I felt like he was only sort of introduced into the animated series so that they could have a good character that would later turn bad. I felt like the whole purpose of him was just to kind of show... He was there to serve the story. He wasn't really there to be a character that we would get to know for a long time and become enamored with. So I felt like he was just kind of there to serve the story. And to be there as a character to show that the world of the X-Men is one of peril, where main characters can die, but without actually killing off any of the main cast. Like, the main cast were straight out of the comic books, and they were like long-time, well-established, beloved characters. Morph was somebody who was just introduced into the animated series, and I always felt like it was solely to just kind of show what kind of stakes were at play in the X-Men universe, for those who may not be familiar with the comics. And then, of course, they brought him back later with Mr. Sinister, brought him back as Dark Morph, and he became a full-on antagonist fighting the team and stuff like that. So, I thought he was fine. We did, like I say, we didn't really get to know him very well. He wasn't around for very long. But, he basically had his introduction story where he dies. We get to know him, and then he dies. And then he comes back as a villain for a little bit. And then I can't... It's been so long since I've watched, I don't remember what his ultimate fate was. But I know he didn't stick around for very long. So, he was all right. I think he served his purpose. And, I would have liked to see a little bit more of him, because I kind of liked... Like, there's that opening scene, I think, where we first see him, where Jubilee's kind of walking around the X-Men's mansion, and she sees Morph, and he's watching the news, and he's morphing into people who are on the news and just kind of making fun of them. And I thought that was a fun little scene, and I would have liked to see more little things like that with Morph, but I do like that it kind of established that he was, he had a nice friendship with Logan, and Logan said that Morph was the only guy who could make him laugh, so it suggests to me that Logan has kind of a goofy sense of humor, but he doesn't show it to everybody. So, anyway, Morph, rest in peace, Morph. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Spinball video game is a spin-off of the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Yes. Set in the continuity of the Sonic the Hedgehog animated series. Was it really? I didn't actually know that. What's your thoughts about it? So, Sonic Spinball, I loved Sonic Spinball. That was another one. I think I bought that one when it came out. Because I always thought, and I think a lot of people did, because Sonic had his spin dash move, it was very pinball-like, and there were certain levels, especially in the first two, like was it the Starlight Zone and the Casino Night Zone, that were very pinball-like. And in fact, one of them, was it, I forget which one it was, one of them actually had full-on pinball sections. So Sonic as a pinball wasn't that out there of a concept. So I liked the idea that with Sonic Spinball, they kind of took the ball and ran with it, took the pinball and ran with it, and did a full-on pinball game with Sonic. Again, with these very kind of organic graphics and stuff. I made it all the way to the final boss. There's, I think, 4 worlds in it. I made it all the way to the final boss in the final world, and I just couldn't beat him. It wasn't that the boss himself was difficult. It was that you had to flip Sonic into this, like, upper section, and then further flip him into this, like, one little area that you could enter into the chamber where you would fight the boss. But the problem is the boss would like hit you and send you flying out of the chamber again, knocking you all the way back down to the bottom. So you'd have to fight your way all the way back up again and then try to get back into the chamber. It was so freaking hard. Like, it required so much precision just to get into that damn chamber to fight the boss. Yeah. I got that far and then just never got back to it. So one of these days, I'd love to actually tackle it again and try to finish it. Because I remember really enjoying it. It was a lot. I played the shit out of it when it first came out, and on the actual Genesis, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it was one of the few that wasn't a Japanese game. Like, it wasn't made by the usual Sonic team, if I remember correctly. It was actually made in the U.S. But so it does have a slightly different feel to it in terms of the controls and stuff. It's not quite as smooth as the ones made by the main Sonic team, but still a very fun, very solid game. Definitely different from your regular Sonic game, but it still feels like a Sonic game. I actually didn't know that it was based on Sonic Sat AM. That makes me want to play it even more now, or play it again even more. And Dr. Robotnik, and finally, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is based on the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I actually didn't know that either. I didn't know that any of the games were based on the cartoons. That's interesting. I used to play Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine quite a bit as well. I thought it was a pretty good kind of knockoff of those like Columns or Bejeweled type of games. Which themselves were kind of loosely inspired by Tetris and that sort of thing, like falling block puzzle type games. I actually thought it was pretty solid, and that's another one I used to play a fair amount. I can't remember how far. I didn't get super far in it, because when you get to like the third or fourth opponents, some of them are really tough and really play dirty. So I think I got to the fourth guy. I can't remember. I remember one of them was like a robot guy, and I can't remember what the other ones were. But anyway, maybe they're all robot guys. I can't remember. No, I think they were all robot guys. But anyway, I got to like the third or fourth one, and I just couldn't beat him. I couldn't get any farther. So there came a point where I just gave up after a while. But it is one that I still return to from time to time. I have it in my multitude of Sega Genesis collections and whatnot. And Sonic collections and whatnot, so I have it several times over, and it's one that I have returned to a few times on my live streams on Twitch. Sometimes when I just want to play some retro games, it's often one that I'll fire up just to, play a few rounds, see how I do, and stuff like that. It's good stuff. I love those. I love those sort of offbeat Sonic games, and I honestly think that Sonic Spinball and Mean Bean Machine are two of the best sort of normal Sonic games that we've had. Because they're both just really solid, fun games that do something different, but still very much feel like Sonic the Hedgehog. So, and there you go. It says, "Hi, Sean. Enjoy. Take care. Bye." From ItsFrank. All right. Well, thank you once again, Frank, for yet another awesome package and some really good questions there. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's great. I'm definitely going to enjoy all of these. So we got, just a quick refresher, we got Sonic 2, the 4K Steelbook, includes the Blu-ray. We got a nice thick case to put the Sonic Boom collection in. We got the Rescuers and Rescuers Down Under double feature. We got the Great Mouse Detective. And we got all 3 volumes of Tex Avery's Screwball Classics. So that is fantastic. Definitely going to enjoy those, and makes for some wonderful additions to the Warner Brothers and Disney collection. It's kind of funny that I mentioned Warner Brothers and DC and Disney right at the top of the show, and sure enough, you sent me a bunch more Disney and Warner Brothers stuff, plus some more Sonic, of course. Alrighty, folks. Well, that is it from me to you for now. Be sure to check the description for Frank's YouTube channel, ItsFrank, and you can take a look at that. He does all kinds of closer looks at stuff from his collection and whatnot, and he's just as passionate about all this stuff as we are, as you probably gathered from the packages that he sends. Alrighty, so that is it from me to you for now. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks once again, Frank. Really appreciate it, dude. Big thanks to you for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. Be sure to catch me on Twitch. I stream just about every day. Don't forget to hit thanks if you'd like to support the show. Always appreciated. And I will see you next time. Until then, sayonara.